So in this video I'm going to be making an epoxy resin logo. I've never made anything like this before, so hopefully it won't be a complete disaster. I'm starting off using my router with an 11mm guide bush and this template that I made off camera. This will make the outline of the main letters. So I will need this template again later to do the inner parts of the letters. If all goes well, the logo will be set into the top of a coffee table that you will see at the end of this video. So the wood I'm using here is called Wenge. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I've never used this wood before, as it's quite difficult to get hold of here in the UK. I believe it's native to Central Africa, but it makes some of the strangest dust I've ever seen. It actually causes me some slight issues later on. Now I'm moving on to the smaller letters, so I've switched my router cutter to the 30-degree engraving bit. I did find using this trend router base made things slightly easier. The lower you seem to have your hands, the easier it is to control the router. I did find using a photocopy of the logo glued onto the wood, the router made the edges very fuzzy and it was quite difficult to follow. So if anyone knows a better technique than that, then please do let me know in the comments. So the logo is made up of 3 pieces of wood. I'm not going to glue them together till near the end. That way, if I make a mistake at any point, I've only ruined that one piece, not the whole logo. Here I'm just using the router to cut the outer circle of the logo. I'm using this trend router base, very handy for cutting circles. So now we're onto the epoxy resin part of the logo, and I'm using a 30-minute epoxy here because I needed to get this job done quite quickly, and where I'm not experienced with using epoxy resin, it got the job done, but I think it was a lot harder than it needed to be. As you can see, it's very thick and doesn't run into the cutouts at all well. It was a lot harder to put in than I thought. But like I said, it got the job done. So off camera, I made this MDF template just to make this square cutout for the logo. So these circle bits are a relatively risk-free part of the logo, providing I concentrate and I don't go past any of my lines. So with this resin, I was probably getting about 20 minutes before it became unusable. And it being so thick and not running into the cutouts very easily, I had to move quite quickly. This was the part of the logo that I was probably most worried about. There was a lot that could have gone wrong at this point. I had to set the template up in exactly the right place each time, and I was routing into about 5mm of wood with a 3mm cutter, so it was leaving very little either side, so it could have chipped out quite easily, but luckily it all seemed to go okay. So at this point I wasn't very happy with the purple, and I found another purple in my workshop that I didn't realise I had, which is what you can see me using now. And I think this looked a lot better, so that meant I had to redo all the original purple, which you'll see in a second. So this is what it looks like after I changed the purple. It definitely stands out better against that dark background of the wood. So yeah, definitely glad I did it. So I'm now just cutting the logo to its final size, and the reason I'm doing it in this order is because the pivot point to this circle, the screw hole can be hidden by the last epoxy pour. I'm just using my leaf blower here because I don't want any of the dust to get under my router base and scratch any of the logo. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, how the dust from this wood caused me one or two issues. So I had to be really careful with it. If I touched this logo with a sander or simply rubbing this dust with even light pressure on the epoxy would discolour it, and then you'd have to use a card scraper and scrape quite a lot away to get rid of it. For anybody interested, I will be bringing out the coffee table full build video shortly. Well, I definitely learnt some lessons on this one, but it was fun to do something that I'd never done before. Anyway, hope some of you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.